Hello everyone, hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again for another session of news from Africa. So what do I have for you today? These reports just came out, have a look at them. Zim, a top 5 gold smuggler. That's crazy. And have a look at this other one right here as well. It says tens of billions of dollars in gold flows illegally out of Africa each year. I'm quite shocked, but at the same time, not really. So today, we're going to dive deep into the world of gold, specifically the gold found here in Africa. Africa is a continent rich in resources, and gold is not an exception to that rule, right? The dark side to this story is, as I've already shown you with those news articles, Zimbabwe is at the center of this story, as it seems to be when it comes to gold. For those of you who don't really know, last year there was a big story that was broken out by Al Jazeera, which is a news multimedia platform. So they followed the story about how gold is being smuggled out of Zimbabwe and entering into the United Arab Emirates. So according to this new report, about $30 billion worth of gold was smuggled in 2022. This report is coming from a Swiss organization called Swiss Aid. So these guys are the ones that have done and stewarded this investigation, and that's what they found. $30 billion. Can you imagine that shit? Wow. So apparently places like Dubai, the United Arab Emirates are some of the main destinations for all this gold that's getting smuggled out of Africa. So you might be asking, well, someone's making money out of all this, so what's the problem? What's the downside to all of this? Well, I guess the big catch here is the fact that when all this smuggling takes place, leaving one country undeclared, going to another country, there's obviously big losses. So those big losses are, taxes that the original country loses out of, and obviously, as we all know, taxes is how governments are able to pay for different things: hospitals, roads, infrastructure, etc., etc. So that's where we're losing out on. So every time all this gold is smuggled out of the country, that's what we're losing out on. We're losing out on the taxes, which pay for the everything within each country. The other flip side of all this gold being smuggled out has to do with the fact that a lot of gold in Africa, particularly in a place like Zimbabwe, is done by artisanal miners. Artisanal miners are just small-scale operation miners, like one guy or two guys working together all by themselves to go out and do whatever they need to do to get that gold out of the ground. So the smuggling means that these miners don't get a fair price for their hard work. So they are essentially just getting undercutted because someone else, the person they're selling to, he knows the true market price and is able to say, well, if you're not going to declare your stuff, this is the price I'm giving you. So that's how they're also missing out. In recent time, there's been a massive boom in the price of gold, right? And that big boom, the price rise, that's currently getting people really keen and really invested in going out and being artisanal miners and setting up mining operations all over the place, particularly in a place like Zimbabwe, has had a massive, negative impact. And that negative impact is seen in Zimbabwe in places where a lot of gold mining takes place near rivers or by rivers. And as a result of these people mining the gold by the rivers, they are essentially damaging the river system. As they've damaged the river system, the dams that are relying on all this water coming down from the rivers to then supply the dam with water, that has been impacted. And if you look up like Bulawayo, which is a city in Zimbabwe, has been massively impacted. They are currently having massive water shortages because people upstream of a dam are mining for gold. And this is not unique to just Zimbabwe. It's also true in a place like Nigeria as well. They're having the same problem in Nigeria because artisanal miners mine gold by rivers. And as they're mining gold by the rivers, they are impacting everyone else around them. They're impacting the dams that are getting water from the rivers. And the people who rely on the water that's coming from the dams are no longer able to get water. So there's a lot of drawbacks with this whole artisanal mining, and it makes sense that there's a lot of gold being smuggled out of Africa. It makes sense that this is happening right now. That whole space of artisanal mining isn't so well managed. It's not well regulated within Africa. Zimbabwe doesn't really regulate this well. Nigeria doesn't regulate this well. Ghana doesn't do it well either. So generally, this is just not being done well. It's not being done well. It's not being regulated well. One of the big key takeaways from these reports is the fact that this goes beyond just the economics of gold. The gold smuggling is linked to like conflict and violence in some regions, and criminal groups might use the gold to fund whatever activities that they're doing. So really stopping the smuggling is about more than just the money, really. It's more about peace and stability and safeguarding the environment so that there's little environmental damage that's being done via the act of mining for gold. And understandably, yes, people need money because in a place like Africa, there's not a lot of other options for people to like make money. So this is one avenue that people know. If I go out and pan for gold, I might be able to get lucky and make some money. So it's understandable, but at the same time, I think a lot of work needs to be done by the internal governments and governments within Africa really to go out, educate, regulate, and make sure that the practices by these people is done better. But on a separate note, these governments, it's a bit unbelievable that they are letting all this smuggling take place, because the people within their countries and the people of Africa, they're losing out on so much value. Because gold right now, the price of gold is so damn high, and a lot of it is being lost. And as I just mentioned earlier, they're quoting about $30 billion is being smuggled out of Africa. $30 billion, that's a lot of money, which can do a lot of shit within the continent. It can do a lot. So thanks for tuning in. Please find those articles, have a read yourself. Tell me what you think in the comments below. And thank you for tuning in again today. If you haven't, as always, please subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining. Bye.